Hi everyone. I'm sorry I can't be there today for your book club meeting. I have another meeting I have to go to, but I did want to share about my perspective about the absolutely true diary of a part-time Indian by Sherman Alexie. I've read quite a few of Alexie's novels. The one that I regularly teach is 10 Little Indians, and I teach that for 513. I've taught Tano and Lone Ranger, Fist Fight in Heaven, and I've taught that for 101, and I think I taught it before for 513. And the movie that's based on Tano and Lone Ranger Fist Fight in Heaven, Smoke Signals, is one that I like the 101 students to read. I've also read Reservation Blues by Sherman Alexie, so I think this was my fourth novel that I've read of his. So I'd like to first compare what I find to be his themes, and typical themes that I see in his books are about basketball. The man loves basketball. Poverty. He always writes about how poor the Indians are. Most of the time he's focused on the Spokane tribe, but poverty is a big part of all of his books. Alcoholism. And it just seems like I can't read one of his books without seeing several scenes talking about how different characters in the book have experienced alcoholism in their lives, how it's affected them. The other themes I see are the love of powwow and other typical rituals that are part of their culture. Alexie also writes with a lot of sexual themes and sexual description. And in this book especially, there's quite a bit about adolescent love. So, but there is some sexual talk in this book as well. The other thing he seems to focus on is his upbringing, parental shortcomings, and how his parents, they struggled in raising the child, and so this always seems to come up as an issue. And then, of course, a racial or cultural conflict. So it's always the white versus the Indian conflict in his books. So that's what I would say are the general themes. And I do see this in this book that we read, The Part-Time Indian, The True Diary. But some ways that I think it's different is that there's quite a bit of a youthful perspective, because this was categorized as adolescent literature and the character is high school age. For me, that was a departure from his typical writing style, because he focused on what this young boy was going through. And it was also really interesting the way he used cartoons and imagery to express himself, the character. I could see the irony, the humor, the sadness, the fear. This character was, I would say, typically a quiet boy, but through his cartoons he was able to express himself. And the book starts off with him talking about all of his shortcomings and what he doesn't like about himself. So he did this through imagery and cartoons, which, I haven't ever seen drawings in any of Alexie's novels. So I did really like to see the art in the book. The other thing that I think is a little bit different about this book is the focus on, the tribes and the belonging. So this character, he's an Indian, he's been going to school on the reservation, but decides to go to the white school off the reservation. So this is a huge change for him, obviously opens it up to all sorts of different conflicts with, not just the community, but the different students he encounters, the teachers. in the classroom. So the conflict is at a variety of levels. You find that it's really hard for him to make friends. It takes him quite a while. He has this crush on this white girl, which is, she's his dream. But you don't really see, okay, what's going to happen here? Where's it going to go? Is there really hope for them? And in the end, they do bond and they go to the dance together and they, see that they have something in common, which is pretty cool. The other thing that I do see change in the book is the character. He falls in love with basketball and gets to play on the basketball team. And so this gives him strength in a lot of ways. And, they talk about him playing these different games and how he was feeling during playing the games and how, he has friendships with other people that play basketball. And there was this big rivalry. And this point of the book where there's a really... there's a lot of action happening, and he's getting interviewed by a local TV station. And this part is really, really telling of how he's gained a lot of confidence because, heck, he's a high school kid and he's able to talk and get interviewed and make all these like funny deadpan comments. So I liked how the character kind of came around in that regard. The other thing I do really like about Alexie's writing style, it's very comfortable, it's very chatty, very casual, but he uses a lot of metaphors, a lot of personification, and some of the ones that I like were when he described it as scorpion hot. I thought that was pretty vivid, and avalanche laugh. So... I would say overall I did really enjoy reading this book because of the different perspective of being from a younger person and seeing the growth and the change in this character. That was really, really interesting to see how he developed him. But also that there was a lot of promise at the end. A lot of sad things happened to him also. Death and things like that a kid shouldn't have to experience. But I would say overall I really enjoyed reading the book. I think my students would enjoy it. After that I read this book, which is Indian Killer. Pretty thick book. And this one was a downer. Very different from Alexie's writing style because it's more of a murder mystery, but a lot of blood, a lot of violence, a lot of cultural conflict. I could see this being taught in a 101 class and the students, really struggling with some of these racial issues because it's right in your face. Not that it isn't with the Absolutely True Diary. It is in your face there too. And that's what I like about using Alexie books is because it makes you talk about race. And I've talked with other sociology teachers to kind of help me frame my discussions for classes with the correct terminology, so that we can have these discussions in class about race because I think it's fascinating and it's a dialogue that needs to happen. So thanks for watching my video today. I appreciate it. Okay, bye.